Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College Application and Website Development, or AWD program, and in particular for the AWD 1111.NET Framework with Web Databases class, I've been going through a series of video presentations based on the book for the class for the fall 2019 semester, that being Pro ASP.NET MVC 5. Alright, an A-Press book by Adam Freeman. And I am coming towards the end of Chapter 4 in the book. And that is on page 84. Alright, using automatic type inference. Please remember that in this chapter, the author is exposing you to some of the stuff, most of which we have not talked about in the previous class. But by no means are you an expert after you've gone through this chapter. So, the var keyword allows you to define a local variable without explicitly specifying the variable type. Alright? So notice, after we do that, says it is not that my variable does not have a type, it's just that I'm asking the compiler to infer it. Alright? Many languages do this kind of thing and use var or something similar to it. So as you can see from the statements that follow, that the compiler will only allow members of the inferred class, alright, which is product, to be called. Using anonymous types, bottom of page 84 and going on. By combining object initializers with the type inference that we just went over, the author says that he can create simple data storage objects without needing to define the corresponding class or structure. And as you can see here on the top of page 85, says in this example we've created an anonymously typed object called myAnonType. This does not mean that it is dynamic in the sense that JavaScript variables are dynamic. In other words, with dynamic JavaScript variables that you use var, you can say something like name equals MVC, and then later on in the program you can say name equal 27, and then later on you can say name equal false, so you can change its type. Rather, what it means here is that the type definition will be created automatically by the compiler. Still enforces strong typing. Remember that C# is a strongly typed language. All right? You can get and set only the properties that have been defined in the initializer. All right. The compiler generates the class based on the name and the type of the parameters in the initializer. Two anonymously typed objects that have the same property names and types will be assigned to the same automatically generated class, meaning you can create arrays of anonymously typed objects as demonstrated in the next lesson. So we've already got the using system text, I believe, in here. Thought we checked on that before. Yes, there it is. And even though I put a bunch of stuff in here and comment stuff out, etc., still, we're only about maybe a couple hundred lines, not even. All right, and I think we're going to put a new method in here, and that is this create. Okay. Now notice we're getting an error here. A string builder, I believe in C#, and we're probably missing a using statement. We are. Well, we don't have using system.txt in here, evidently. All right. But a string builder, did it just add that? Thought we looked and we had system.txt already, but there it is. All right. Oh, we had system, but not system.txt. My error. Okay. So, trying it again. A string builder is, strings are mutable. In other words, if I create a string and I say string first name equal Jeff, then someplace in memory, it's going to, equate some address with the zeros and ones that represent Jeff. If later on in my program I say first name, or whatever, equals Jeffrey, I change it, it doesn't change the original. Rather, it goes out into another part of memory, all right, and it creates Jeffrey, and then it takes the Jeff that was there and basically marks that as being not used anymore. So when the garbage collector comes around again, it can remove it. All right, it kind of is nulling it out. With a string builder, strings are now rather than them being immutable, and hopefully I said that before, strings are immutable, meaning they can't be changed. A string builder is mutable. So quite often what you do for a string builder is you use that to build a string. So in other words, if I had a string and I wanted to be able to build it as the program was going on, I could use a string builder. All right. Now, do we have anything else in here that we have to change? All right, we should get MVC, hat, and apple, which are the names of our, our three names. Because the result is, basically we're appending the item name. All right. So notice I use var to declare the variable array right there. I must do this because I do not have a type to specify, as I would with a regularly typed array. Even though I have not defined a class for any of these objects, I can still enumerate over the contents of the array and read the value of the name property. This is an important concept because, as the author says, without this feature, he would not be able to create arrays of anonymously typed objects. Or he could create the arrays but not be able to do anything useful with them. So, let's go back to here. This is our create a non-array. So let's do a file, save all. Oops, try that again. File, save all, and let's run the program. Once we get up to here, /home/create a non-array. There we get MVC, hat, and apple. Now, it wouldn't take a lot of work to change this around so we could append the name and the category and then a space, etc. So we could do this in a lot of different ways. All right. In fact, just for the heck of it, I'm going to take this line right here, oops, and I'm going to comment it out, and then I'm going to reproduce it right below here. Why? Just because sometimes I like to be a little different. Okay. So there it is. So I'm going to append to the item name a space, dot append item dot category dot append a \n. Again, I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but I thought, what the heck. So let's finish this. There. All right, it's giving me an error right here. Somehow I lost one of my curly braces. All right, and it says here, not all code paths return a value. Because that return statement, try this again. I'm going to get an error, but we'll fix it in just a second. right, so we've got public view result, result.append, and somehow I'm missing this line. So we'll put that in. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, and I'm going to see if indeed, after we run this again, I should now have my name followed by a space, followed by the type, followed by a blank line. So we'll see whether or not that works. And if it does not, probably what it means is that when I set the condition up, I put the wrong code in. Okay, so it did give me MVC pattern hat clothing, apple fruit. For whatever reason, it did not understand when I came in here and appended the \n, it did not understand that. Not sure why it wouldn't do that, but it did not. So this is superfluous. Since it is, we can remove it. Again, didn't have to do that, but I just wanted to show you that it was possible to add even more on there than what the author showed. Okay? All right. And we're at 12 minutes. Now that's very early for me to stop one of these lectures. However, what's next is link or language integrated queries, which is a topic into and of itself, and it'll take up the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, almost the rest of the chapter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here and continue on then in the next lesson.